Do you ever find yourself collecting a ton of to-do projects and then wondering when do you stop collecting and start making? Hello, my friends. Chris Mason here. So, I've got a little dilemma. Over the last year or so, I have been collecting projects, always with the mind to do them. And for some reason, I either lose my motivation or I get busy doing something else. But I have a ton of these projects that have started to pile up, and I want to get moving on some of them. So I've been making and building models since I was like 10 years old. Started with the early Aurora models, the monster reissues and the superhero model reissues. Did all those as a kid. And anyway, I just love making stuff. So like I said, I have been collecting various projects over this last year with the hopes of doing them, and just for whatever reason, just not motivated sometimes to do them. But anyway, I've got this is my original $6 million man uh, action figure. He's got some of the clothes, and he's got his little, I think this was like a little RF radio, FM radio backpack that actually worked as a radio. So I want to refurbish him and get him back into shape. So that's one project. And this is another project that I thought about. Just one day I was thinking, hey, whatever happened to those Star Wars van models I used to have? So I picked this up. This is the Luke Skywalker van. I picked this up on eBay pretty cheap. Someone else had built it. It needs to be taken apart and redone. It's missing the front grills. The top needs painting. I'm pretty sure I had the Darth Vader one as well. Anyway, so this is just one more project that I want to do, rebuilding this Luke Skywalker Star Wars van. I've also got this Frankenstein flivver. This is the old Aurora kit. I believe this is a reissue from Polar Lights. This is actually my brother's kit that he asked me to build. So this is on the to-do list to build. Just one more model. I love building model kits. When I'm going to get to it, who knows? And continuing down the list of model kits to build, I've got the Space 99 command set, which has the blaster and the communicator. I loved the show as a kid when it came out, and I believe I had this original kit back in the day, or a version of it. I remember building the blaster or the stun gun. Anyway, picked this up about 6 months ago, and it's just been sitting waiting to be built. All right, so we have the Batman and Robin. These are the two model kits from Mobius Models. I've had Batman for maybe going on 5 years, and I have yet to build him. I even opened the box. Robin I picked up last summer. He is still sealed in his plastic. Just one more set of kits to add to the build list. Alright, so this is another set of kits I picked up last year and have been sitting around. These are the 4 Planet of the Ape kits from Aurora. And I believe these are the original releases. These aren't reissues, but these are all from Aurora. But I've got there is Zira, Cornelius, I have General Ursus, and Dr. Zayas. Now my thought was I was going to do like a diorama. I was going to build a little mini set incorporating all the pieces from these kits into one sort of diorama scene. It's just another one of those harebrained idea projects that I've got. Where they're going to go when it's finished, I have no idea. I think that's what's kept me from building them. I love picking up toys and doing a repaint and bringing them closer to how they looked in their films. This is the T-Craft Mr. Terrific's ship from the new Superman movie, and this is a patrol trooper from Star Wars. I just thought the design of this was really cool, and I was thinking about doing like a repose on him, putting in a little more of an action pose because he's rather stiff. So these are two toys that are going to get repaint. When? I don't know. So I've got here the Polar Lights 1966 Batmobile model kit. This is 1/25th scale. I've also got my original 1989 Batmobile model kit. Now my thought was merging the two together, cutting them apart and splicing the two Batmobiles together to make one 6689 Batmobile. So that's on my list of to-do projects. All right, so what I have here, I have collected a couple of toys. I've got a Star Wars Land Speeder. Picked this up on eBay, broken, missing parts. And earlier last year, I merged a 66 Batmobile and a Back to the Future DeLorean model kit. Merged the two toys together.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Are you telling me you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
If you're gonna build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style?
This is the leftover parts of the DeLorean, and I thought I could merge these two toys together to make a DeLorean Land Speeder. So I've got all the parts in here. There's tires and pieces. There's even a Luke Skywalker here. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so in this box, we've got another couple of projects together. I have my original MPC Star Wars kits that I built. So I've got this red R2-D2. Somewhere I have lost my original R2. It's in another box buried somewhere. But I did pick up a Return of the Jedi R2 kit to rebuild. I believe most of the parts are here. The box is pretty beat up. And also in this box is what's left of my C-3PO. I don't know what happened to him. He's just fallen apart. So I want to do a complete repaint and rebuild of 3PO and R2. And maybe refurbish this red one. And then I also have in this box, I have a Lost in Space robot. And I have a Robbie the robot. And another one of those weird mashup ideas that I had. What if I merged these two together, you know, like Robbie's head on B9's body, B9's head on Robbie's body, and the legs, Robbie's legs on B9's body. You know, so swapping body parts to get two very distinct looking models. So these are toys. I think I have two of these. I think this is the Trendmasters. I think both of these are Trendmasters. This one has a remote control that he walks. I don't have a lot of attachment to these other than they could be potential projects. And that's the fun of doing some of these merging projects that I come up with. You know, I know a lot of people are screaming, "Oh, why are you going to do that?" But, you know, that's the fun part of, you know, these mashups and merging things together for me. It's the fun of it. All right, so here's another box. This one's labeled Blasters, and I've built quite a few sci-fi blasters, a lot of Star Wars, some Star Trek. I've got a bunch that I've built. I love, you know, the sci-fi weapons. There's a Nerf gun. I've got plans to do Andor's weapon This is the toy, which looks okay, but the scale of it is really small. And in my research, these are pictures of the actual prop. The toy the scale of it is really small. It's, designed for little kids. Oh, it still makes noise. But anyway, I felt it was too small. And in my research, found that it was a M16. And this is a model from one of my movies back in the 80s that I'm going to redo and turn this into Andor's weapon. Along with that, in the box here, I've got a Buck Rogers blaster replica. I picked this up on Etsy. Back in the day, I used to own the original prop from the film, from the TV series Buck Rogers. I sold that to a collector years ago and regretted it. So I picked this up on Etsy as a DIY finishing project. So I've got this to work on. I picked up this grapple gun, I think from Batman versus Superman. I think this is the Ben Affleck Batman. Once I got hold of it, it just looked kind of lame. So I don't know if I'm ever going to do that. And I love the Fifth Element, and this is a casting from one of the original props from the film. I believe it's probably off of a stunt gun. But this is like solid resin. It's got a lot of heft, a lot of weight to it. So that's another one of my blaster build projects. And then there's just like some greebles and whatnot to go with each one of those. So I've got quite a few blasters to build. And in the last project box here, I've got a casting that I picked up, I think on eBay or Etsy, I don't remember. I picked this up about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago now. RoboCop's helmet. Halt, or there'll be trouble. Anyway, so I got this helmet, and all the parts are here. So there's the back neck piece, there's the jaw, chin piece. But I just didn't want, I always like to tell a story with some of my projects. So what I did with this is I thought that for display, it would just be the helmet on display. And the story behind is that this would be Robo's shot up helmet. So it's kind of hard to see, but I got all the bullet holes and everything. This is when he's fighting Ed 209 near the end of the movie, and he gets shot up. So I thought the story behind that would be that it would be on display as the helmet that from the end of the movie. All right, this is another model project that I picked up recently. Another one of those instances where I was cruising on, and I think I found this on Facebook Marketplace. This is the Buck Rogers Starfighter from the Buck Rogers TV show. It's a resin cast, and it's a pretty good size. It's a little bigger than the original model kit that I had. It's one of those instances where I get a bug up my butt to build something, and I go, what about the Starfighter from Buck Rogers? That's on the list to build. This arrived about 6 months ago. I have never even opened the box. This is a Back to the Future 2 popcorn bucket that I was going to repaint and customize to look more like the car from the films. Still in the box. All right, so this is something, I picked this up in a hobby shop about 6-7 months ago. This is a paint by numbers set of Batman. I thought when I paint it, I could turn it into Michael Keaton's Batman. All right, in this box is the last Starfighter. This is a kit that one of my pals on Facebook made, and I picked it up. Still needs to be built. All right, so in this box, I have... See if you can guess what this is going to be. Yeah, this is going to be a Tron helmet. I've already taped it off just for the fun of it. Yeah, this was another one of those whims that I go, you know, I can build one of those. So, yeah, I've got a helmet to do a Tron, but not only that, I've got two. Now this is the same Cooper helmet that they used in the film. So these are vintage 1970s. Picked these up on eBay. Anyway, Tron helmet in a box. Another thing on my list of to-dos is to weather my R2-D2. I built him about 2 years ago. He's full size. He needs some weathering. I've also got this Ralph McQuarrie Darth Vader prototype helmet that I need to finish painting. I've also got these two figures I wanted to do a repaint of. And also my Yoda. This is my Home Depot Yoda that I bought a couple of years ago. I always wanted to do a little repaint on him and give him some hair. Also noticed recently that he's got a big tear in his neck. So, and I wanted to give him a new cloak and do a little repaint. And there is also my Home Depot Stormtrooper. I need to do little upgrades on him. That's on my to-do list.
Move along. Move along.
Well, as you can see, I've got quite the to-do list. This is a little daunting, but it kind of makes me happy. I know that I have a lot to do. I'll have a lot of fun putting these together. I hope that you will all join me in seeing what I make next. Please hit that like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.